Trump's legal team is getting doxxed. Trump's legal team and all the people that are independently doing this, like Mark Levin's wife, is getting doxxed. Samantha Power getting doxxed. Rudolph Giuliani getting doxxed. All these people are getting doxxed. They're doing independently or getting doxxed. People that are where they're witnessing the fraud and witnessing this theft of the election is getting doxxed. These people are getting doxxed, people. They are doxing these people. And they're going to court in Pennsylvania and in Wisconsin and Michigan and Georgia, and they're getting stopped. The courts are not allowing them to have deprecatory evidence and to investigate. They're not allowing them to go get the evidence. They're not allowing them to investigate these claims. They're not allowing them to go and get a warrant to take these machines that have the errors in it in Michigan, and that these machines that were errors in giving votes from Trump to Biden. They're not allowing them to have these machines. And so they can't do the investigations. It's not bullshit, Jonah Goldberg. It's that they can't get their hands on the evidence. They are extorting them, they're allowing them to have access to it they legally have the rights to. They're doing stuff out of court. They're not allowing them to have access to it. And so they can't prove their case and they can't say it's fraud or else they'll be disbarred and they'll lose their license because of perjury. It's not that they're perjuring themselves, it's just they can't prove that it's not perjury because they're not allowed to. They're not getting evidence. The evidence is not there. They don't have the evidence. They weren't there. It's from people that said that this happened that was there. And they're having trouble getting the evidence to prove that. There is evidence of voter fraud. How the heck you have three ballot boxes in Georgia and they're all for Trump, apparently. And you're holding on to them and like, I don't want these counted. But none of Biden's votes got missing or was gone. Then Michigan, you got the error and they're all going one way. Only Biden gets votes in the error. Trump doesn't get any votes on a mistaken error. And Trump votes never. It's only like his leg doesn't change. It's like Biden's all these error votes that were supposed to go to Trump and went to Biden, but Trump didn't get any Biden votes, and Biden got a lot of Trump votes. Well, how is that? How is it boxes magically appear in certain areas and they're all for Biden? And in some liberal states are for Biden, like in Nevada, they're for Biden. Someone just signs these hoes only for the top of the ticket. That's for Biden. There's no circle for Trump. This is a circle for Biden. And every one of them was for Biden. Like there wasn't a single one for Trump. And these states that did like past the time. And so what is it? You start counting in the middle of the night at midnight and at 4 a.m. Magically we got some boxes of more votes that we just filled out. Then they begin counting again. That's not fishy to you. There is a theft going on. They're hiding it. They're not going to come clean with the evidence. I'll let them get the evidence because they like Joe Biden there in the office. I don't think that Trump won New Mexico. I don't think Trump won even Arizona because of Sidney McCain. But I do think there's a chance he could have won either Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Georgia. And any one of those he could have won or not won, we don't know because they're not letting us do a true investigation. I think that we need to find out what is going on. There's fraud, and we need to find out. Not that there isn't fraud in Arizona, I just don't think that's enough to overturn it. I think Cindy McCain turned a lot of people against Trump. And yes, we also have a lot of suburban women, too. Well, suburban women, you like the stuff Trump was doing, but you don't like his character. Well, guess what? You don't like Simon Cowell or Gordon Ramsay either. Because they talk just like Trump does, Shug Gordon Ramsay. They come across as bullies. You see Hell's Kitchen, the way Shug Gordon Ramsay talks to contestants that fail at making a good dinner and the guest wants to leave the restaurant. So I guess you don't like that. Well, guess what? Because of that, you elected Joe Biden probably. Because you sit there and why not like someone because of his character. It's about the country. Take your ego and stick it in your pockets. Why not you like what Trump's doing, not what you not like what he's saying or the tweets. And that's the only reason it's as difficult as it is. And it comes down to the fraud It comes down to all these irregularities in the voting. It's like, you know what? Won't you win enough that the fraud can't affect you, or that the courts can't make a call on this, or can't take it from you? Well, the suburban women then sit there and make it about character and made it about what he did for the country. Maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. Maybe we wouldn't need these votes to begin with. But since we do, we need to investigate this to see how it came out. But it's only as close as it is, and because of the suburban women. And now we're going to need these votes more than ever that are taken from us because we can't win. We can't win now. If we had a blowout, then there's nothing I can do can steal it. But since it's a close election, they can easily steal it in some states because the suburban women made it more closer than it has to be. But there is irregularities. They're not just error. They're not just incompetence. Trying cover for Georgia and Kemp, who's been missing for a couple of weeks. Why isn't he doing anything he can to audit the votes? And then they audit it, but guess what? They don't want to verify the signature. Now they moved the goalpost against us. Now we're not going to verify the signature in Georgia. We're not verifying the signature. What do you mean you're not going to verify the signature in Georgia? How can you not verify the signature in Georgia? I mean, we need to know if these votes are legit, but we don't. We're not going to know. Verifying the signature, we should verify the signature in Georgia, but I don't know if we are going to verify the signature in Georgia. But we should. But they're not gonna verify. You're just gonna recount again, and it's gonna be the same ones. But there's no signature. Do we prove the signature? Do we not prove the signature? People don't sign. He will do anything. And then you also have in counties in Pennsylvania where the leftist counties and people that voted for Biden was allowed to go and redo it if they messed up on a ballot, didn't fill it out properly, or put their name on properly, or dated it properly. And Republicans weren't allowed to change the date or weren't allowed to revote. They just got their votes tossed if they didn't fill it in properly or put their name in properly, or they just threw it away. It's like, no, they just threw it away. They didn't give a chance for them to redo it. They didn't say, oh, come in, give us some more votes if you're sure. They told the leftists, come in here and vote for Biden. We'll give you that chance to have your vote counted. If you have buyer's remorse or voters' remorse for the Republicans, they didn't get that same opportunity in their precincts to come back and vote. No, after the election or change their ballot to make sure it was correct. No. And also you can't canvass the vote and see the vote if you're a Republican. Well, you could be in the room, but you can't see it. You got to be 10 feet away, 10, 20 feet away. Oh, well, you're in the room. The room can see what's going on, but the leftist is, oh, they can see everything. It's like it's not fair when only one side gets to see the count of the vote. Now, there's evidence that they need to let us have access to these voting machines, these softwares that we use. We need access to the software so we can investigate and see if there's any errors in the software. We need to get the evidence so we can exploit the evidence to see if there's any irregularities there. But they're playing hot potato with the evidence. And Jonah Goldberg, you're clowning yourself on special report tonight. Doesn't make you right just because you said on special report. We have no clue what happened. We're trying to investigate it. Oh, this is just a clown show. This is just Giuliani clowning himself at the end. And this is what he wants to be remembered for? How do you know he's not telling the truth? How do you know this isn't true? When you call Mark Levin's wife a clown, Mark Levin's wife is down there helping to count the votes too. He's also helping the Legal Foundation and trying to do her own investigation. She's out there, one of these independent lawyers trying to investigate this. And she's saying the same things Giuliani's report yesterday on the presser he had at 12 o'clock yesterday. So what, you gonna call Mark Levin's wife a clown, Jonah Goldberg? You think Mark Levin's wife is bullshitting for a crap? Come on, Jonah, you're better than that. You're clowning yourself because you're always man bad person. I mean, you're always man bad. And, that's a shame on you. Well, but he commented him on the vaccine. Well, I guess he does comment him from time to time. But when he doesn't like him, he ends up going back to always man bad mode, as if he didn't comment him on the medicine and the vaccine for the disease, that we have, the coronavirus. And yeah, he does comment from time to time, but he's still overwhelming, like, oh no, I'm just gonna assume the worst, or he's replying himself because there's no evidence. It takes time to get evidence. You can't get evidence this quick. It takes 2 or 3 weeks to get the evidence, Jonah Goldberg. Come on, you're not an attorney like Mark Levin. You're not a constitutionalist like Mark Levin either. So you're just sitting there, oh, I'm Mr. Smarty Pants. I know what I'm talking about. Well, not more than Mark Levin does. Mark Levin knows what he's talking about more than you do. It's a shame that you just want to sit there and bequeath yourself because you know what? You just have to make a joke. You're making yourself into a joke. Mark Levin is not the joke. You are, Jonah. And you should shame yourself thinking you know more than Mark Levin. This is plenty of evidence here. We just need to have access to it. Trump cannot win this election. You're right. But he can stop Joe Biden from winning. Because if he can't get 270, it goes to the Supreme Court. And then it goes to the House, and then the House can help decide it too. And then we'll decide who's the president when it doesn't happen and he doesn't get 270. Supreme Court can help him hear this and get them to take it down below 270. And then at that point, it goes to the House then to decide who wins. And you know what? It could easily beat Trump in the House. But no one's going to get 270. That's the only way Trump's going to win because he ain't got any pathway to 270, but he can stop Joe Biden from getting 270. I mean, that's how he can get it. We need to investigate. This is very fraudulent stuff that could happen. And it's a shame that people are out there like, oh, we don't know where it is. No, you don't. The Dispatch and the National Review disgrace is what I think it is. The National Disgrace is what the National Review is, man. We don't know what's going to happen. We need to let this process play out. But you know what? Everyone gave Al Gore 37 days in 2000. And everyone's like, oh, look at Trump. He's bequeathing himself. Or Mayor Giuliani. So you want to be remembered, Giuliani? It's a guy that has this for men laying down his face. Yeah, whatever, man. No one cares about you, Jonah Goldberg. We'll find out what's happening if they allow us to find out what's happening.